Hey YouTube, happy Friday. Today we're going to be talking about your mom. Well, my mom, your mom, our moms, moms in general, all that when we come right back. So I cannot believe it's already Friday. I've been so busy going, as you've seen if you're following either my Instagram or this. Life is crazy, and some part of that craziness was I spent a lot of time with my mom, and it kind of got me thinking about moms and maybe sharing my story about how I found my mom, because I didn't necessarily find her in the most traditional way of, I don't know, coming out of her. So my story is a little bit different than probably most people's, because I didn't officially get adopted until my adult life, but she was there for me before that, and I even had other people who played the role as my mom in my life, while for a lot of that living with my actual biological mother. So I guess kind of weird, but where it all the story begins is that essentially I was born into a family that I felt no kinship with. I kind of felt like I was an alien, which could be why Superman is my favorite action hero. And I always felt like somebody was going to come and get me who was my true parent. And even more so, I always felt like I had brothers out there, which was really weird because I knew that wasn't possible. My biological mother obviously knew who she had given birth to, so none of this stuff really made sense. And then one day it actually did. I did find brothers, and I did find my family that was out there. So going through my life, not feeling any kinship towards my mother, I always would reach out to other people. And first it started with my second grade teacher, who was phenomenal with me and really helped fill that void. She knew I was missing something, and she just swept right in. And still to this day, we're great friends and keep in touch. And I was so fortunate to have her in such young formative years, because if I didn't, I honestly have no idea how I would have turned out. After she came along, the same story kind of goes. I found my best girlfriend at the time. Her mom stepped in this picture beautifully, and for the rest of my formative years, I really had her by my side, and then she acted like a mom. She gave me that motherly love I was so much yearning for, and no judgment. That where I was growing up was I was getting constant judgment. I was getting constant just conditional love, because I don't want to say there was no love, but there was conditional love. I'm going to love you under these set conditions, and you must stay in that box. If you kind of try to venture outside of that box, you're out. And then while trying to keep me inside this box, there's a lot of emotional abuse. Basically just all of my faults, or things that were viewed as faults, or maybe things that I'm not so great with, were always thrown in my face. Even something as simple, I had really bad acne, which is kind of funny because actually in this right now I have a little bit of acne, but it was really bad, and I would get called zit face at home, which kind of just shows the irony of it. And all of this will be in my book whenever that eventually comes out, so if you're dying to know more, don't worry, there's a whole book on it. Back to the story on point though, these moms that just kept appearing in my life were just universe sent, God sent, insert whatever word that you best subscribe to, but it was divine in a sense that the thing I needed the most kept appearing in my life. And the mom that I'm referring to right now, that was my best friend's mom, she actually passed away. I lived with her for about a year, and shortly after that she passed away, and that was absolutely heartbreaking. And I really felt like I lost such a huge part of my life, somebody that was so influential on it. But amazingly, at the same time, my guy best friend, his mom, the instant I met her, I just felt this connection and a family, and it was just like, oh wait, this is where I belong, this is who my mom is. And it was just an unknown feeling that we both had, and the next thing you know, we're talking about adoption, and then bam, it all happened, and I was in a new family that felt right, and I felt this kinship towards. Does that mean that we're exactly the same people, we have the same views? None of that stuff. It was something so much deeper than any of that. It was something that, on a level that I couldn't quite put into words even if I tried. Which I think most people naturally feel that towards your mom. Most people, I use that, not necessarily everybody. Coffee break. Traveling and doing everything I've been doing, I still haven't quite got my sleep schedule solidified, so my energy levels go woo woo all over the place. That's why coffee has to be to get this video done. Back to moms and family in general. The whole life lesson I learned about this is that there was a point in my life where I was really bitter about, okay, why do so many people have amazing parents, or they get all these opportunities because their parents were so phenomenal? And of course there's millions of people that it's not the case, whatever. There are awful people out there and awful parents. But that bitterness eventually went away because I was like, even though I had it not so great, I learned so much, and it really made me the person who I am, that can go out and achieve whatever I want, and it gave me this drive in life that I don't know if I would have necessarily had without it. It's one of those things, who can say? But when I re-look at it in my life, I'm not bitter about it anymore. I'm so past it, and I think that there's relationships in your life that you have to sit down and realize, if you aren't benefiting each other, you're not making each other better people, you're only bringing negative energy into each other's lives, what's the point? There's no point. You both can be so much better off without each other in your lives, and at that point when you're separated, that may be time that you actually find love for that person. In that separatedness doesn't mean you guys have to come back together, be friends, or any of that stuff, but you can be at peace and go about your lives, wish them well, they wish you well. And for me, a lot of times that's easier said than I know a lot of people have, because I didn't necessarily have an established loving relationship with my biological parents, so maybe it was easier for somebody who later on in your life you realize, okay, this person is incredibly negative to me, we're only doing this, but they've been with me for 30 years. How can so I'm not speaking on everybody, but I do truly believe your family isn't necessarily what you're born into. I believe that you go out and you find your family, and those will be the ones that you'll take with you for the rest of your life. And even at 90, I think you can still find your family members, because it's not something that is able to be put into words. It's something that runs so much deeper than that. And that's how I believe I found my mom. Our souls connected. The instant I knew her, it was that feeling deep in, like, oh my gosh, this is my mom. And everything checked out. As I grew up, she continued to be the person I turned to when I needed somebody the most, the light in my dark, all of these stereotypical things you think of as a mom, she just instantly fit into that role. And I believe that's how other people come in your life that fit that family role, is your souls, the instant they get connected, you feel it, you know it, and it naturally plays out for the rest of your life, for the time that they need to be in your life. And earlier, these people I think can already be built into your family, you can already be surrounded by them. Some people have to go on a journey and find them. We all have our own path. My story, my views, obviously. I hope you have an amazing Friday. Go out, do something amazing in the world. Don't forget to subscribe. You want to see more videos on Chaz's thoughts? Subscribe, like, dislike, comment, don't comment. You do you, I'll do me, and I'll see you next Friday.